All right, this lesson is on deductive reasoning. There's two parts to it. First part, front page, we talk about law of detachment. On the second page, we talk about law of syllogism. So, should be a quick, easy lesson, nothing too bad. Trying to overthink this lesson, though. All right, so what is deductive reasoning? It is a process of reasoning logically and drawing a conclusion from given facts and statements. So, we're going to be given a conditional statement, and we're going to come up with either what's called law of detachment or law of syllogism. Okay, so here we go. So what is law of detachment? It says, given a conditional statement, if the hypothesis is true, then the conclusion is true. All right, a little symbolic map here, guys. From last section, remember this reads as P implies Q, and for law of detachment, if I can say P is true, therefore Q is true. These little dots, these three like little triangular dots here, means therefore, okay? So if P implies Q, that's a conditional statement that I would give you. If P is true, then I can say, therefore, Q is true. All right. Says, use law of detachment to give a valid conclusion. If not possible, write no valid conclusion. All right, so let's check this out. If Mark, it's supposed to just say saves. If Mark saves $30, he can buy a new video game. Mark saves 30. Well, if Mark saves 30, then what happens? Well, then I can say he can buy a new video game. Pretty simple stuff. If the hypothesis is true, then my conclusion is true. So if I save $30, what happens? I can buy a new video game. Real simple. If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is also a parallelogram. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. Well, if it's a rhombus, then what is it? Quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. All right, here's one that's not going to work. If you're 18 years old, then you can register to vote. Olivia is not 18 years old. So since she's not 18 years old, then what can't she do? She can't register to vote. So this one, since my hypothesis was not true, I cannot write a valid conclusion. Number 4. This should just say if the sum. If the sum of the measures of two angles is 90, then they're complementary, which means they add up to 90 degrees, right? J is 58, K is 32, which they add up to 90. Well, since my conclusion is true, then I can say J and K are complementary angles. Number 5. If you plan to attend prom, then you must purchase a ticket. Sarah purchases a prom ticket. Wait a minute. If Sarah attended prom, then I could say she purchased a ticket, but I can't just start with this one. This one has no valid conclusion. All right, next up, law of syllogism. Okay, so what is it? This allows you to draw a conclusion from two conditional statements in which the conclusion, this is the important part, the conclusion of the first statement is the hypothesis of the second statement. Symbolic map. If P implies Q and Q implies R, therefore I can say P implies R. Just remember, the conclusion from the first has to match the hypothesis of the second. These two must match up. Then I can combine those two right there. All right. Use law of syllogism to give a valid conclusion. If not possible, write no valid conclusion. All right. So only thing I'm looking for, does my conclusion from the first match the hypothesis of the second? Does this part right here match this part right here? Jake has a baseball tournament. Jake has a baseball tournament. Yep, it does. These two match up. Then I can combine these two for my valid conclusion. Conclusion, if it is Saturday, then he will need to pack his lunch. Done. That's it. Super simple. Okay, does this match this? Sure does. Since these match up, to write law of syllogism, just combine those two right there. And they did that. If a number is divisible by 12, then it is divisible by 3. Done, check, simple. Does this match this? Sure does, once again. So, combine them for law of syllogism. If a quadrilateral is a square, then it has 4 right angles. Done. Oop. No, we know that one doesn't work. Does this match this? No, it does not. Stop right there. No valid conclusion. Don't even read it. This has to match up. Number 10. Does the conclusion from the first match the hypothesis of the second? You will use your target red card. If you do not use your target red card, nope. No. Those are not the same. Stop right there. No valid conclusion. All right. School will be canceled. School is canceled. Yes, they match up. Combine the hypothesis from the first with the conclusion of the second to write your law of syllogism. And there it is. If it snows, then students will need to make up a day of school. Got it? Check. Good. All right, a little bit of practice for us. Just reviewing the notation here for your symbolic map. For law of detachment, if P implies Q, if P then Q, if P is true, then I can say Q is true. Law of syllogism, if P then Q, if Q then R, then I can say if P then R. Remember, these two have to match up, then I can combine those two right there. All right. Directions say determine if you can use law of detachment or if you can use law of syllogism given this part right here. If not, write invalid. Okay. If I drive over the speed limit, then I get a ticket. I drive over the speed limit. Well, what happens if you drive over the speed limit? You get a ticket. That is law of detachment. Okay. I think I might know what this one might be. Does this match that? She will order a hamburger. She orders a hamburger. You bet. Right away, we know what the conclusion should say. That's your law of syllogism right there, guys. If Amanda goes to the restaurant, then she gets fries. Okay, maybe law of syllogism. Let's see here. Then I will wear my snow boots. If it's timeout. Does this work? No, it does not. Invalid. Law of syllogism does not apply because my conclusion from the first does not match the hypothesis from the second. This is invalid. If Tina goes to the beach, she will wear sunscreen. Tina goes to the beach. Well, what happens if she goes to the beach? She has to wear sunscreen. Easy one. Law of detachment. If you get a cold, then you eat chicken soup. You ate chicken. No. If this said you got a cold, then I could say you eat chicken soup, but this one is invalid. Almost law of detachment, but not quite. Number 6. Okay, possibly law of syllogism. Let's check it out. Does my conclusion from the first match the hypothesis from the second? Sure does. They're supplementary. So, yes, this is going to be a valid conclusion. They took the hypothesis from the first right here, combined with the conclusion of the second right there. Law of syllogism. All right, if Kaylee gets at least 9,500 exams, she will get A in geometry. Well, Kaylee got a 98, so what does that mean? She got an A in geometry. Law of detachment. If it is raining, then you must bring your umbrella. Bring an umbrella. You bring your umbrella. Now, this one's backwards, right? If it was raining, then I could bring the umbrella, but this one does not match up right here. Possibly law of detachment, but nope, invalid. All right, guys, here's a job. A little tougher exercise here. It says use law of syllogism to write 3 conditional statements that can be formed using from the following true statements. Okay, so what we have to do is let's work with the first guy right here, right? For law of syllogism to work, my conclusion has to match the hypothesis of the first. So I'm looking for one of these to say It has 4 right angles. No. Hey, here it is right here. I can combine A and C, right? Because my conclusion from the first matches the hypothesis of the second. So if this is true, I just got to combine these two pieces right here. If a quad is a square, then it is a rectangle. Boom, done. There's answer 1. Let's look at B. I'm looking for hypotheses to say the opposite sides are parallel. Well, no. Hey, here it is. The conclusion from the first matches the hypothesis of the second. So since this matches up, I can combine the hypothesis of B with the conclusion of E. So if a quad is a rhombus, then it is a parallelogram. Boom, got it. All right, let's go back to C. Look at letter C now. Let's see if I can match. So we matched up these two right here for number 2. All right, let's look for this one. It is a rectangle. Well, right away, there it is, right? Conclusion from the first matches hypothesis of the second. So I can combine those two. Take the first part, take the hypothesis of the first, combine with the conclusion of the second. So if a quad has 4 right angles, then its opposite sides are congruent. Boom, there it is. All right, that is your lesson on deductive reasoning with law of detachment and law of syllogism.